Well, welcome back to Green Signals live from the greatest gathering at Derby Litchurch Lane for our afternoon show. It's good to be back, eh, Nigel?
It certainly is, Richard. It's novel, is this? Flying by the seat of our pants. With not,
Speak for yourself.
I was going to say, not much idea what we're doing. People would say, how is that any different?
It's no different at all. Now, we do have a very special guest.
We do.
Before we do that, before we introduce our very special guest.
Who doesn't need an introduction?
Who doesn't need any introduction. Bit of housekeeping. If this is the first live stream you've seen from us, just bear in mind, occasionally we get a little bit of buffering. We're using a satellite to upload to YouTube. Don't worry, don't adjust your sets, it'll sort itself out. The weather forecast is fine, so we should be fine. We shouldn't have to call things off for rain, and occasionally we get some PA announcements from the site PA, which is pretty loud, but we think we know when they are, so we'll be able to adjust accordingly. So welcome to Green Signals, and we have, for our first special guest today, John Smith, Chief Executive of GB Rail Freight. Welcome, John.
Good afternoon, Richard. Good afternoon,
Good to
Nigel.
see you, John. The man who, of course, put my name on the side of one of his locomotives. 66312, I think.
Yeah, it's not very reliable. You've had a number of coolant leaks recently that have caused us inordinate problems, Nigel.
Because one of your more famous drivers over there, Bessie, says she's actually driven me.
Oh, I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing.
Whatever's in your mind now, just don't say it.
No,
neither of you go that right. So I've also been told it's not actually putting much of a shift in as well. Is that right?
It rarely does.
Right.
We're always maintaining it and trying to fix it. It seems to be broken most of the time.
Has it got to that time already?
It has got to that time already.
Cheerio.
John, what do you think of the show?
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, it's brought back memories, Richard. Oh yes. I mean, of course, this is only a carriage works. The locomotive works was actually across the way from Litchurch Lane.
So you worked at the Loco Works, did you?
No, I went to the open day. No, I served my time at the York Carriage Works, which was the opposite number of this. We beat them 4-1 in the Apprenticeship Football Championship.
This is important stuff.
Oh, it is important stuff. We were better than them, although they shut us and kept this place open for some reason. But no, overall, I mean, it's just fantastic. A lot of people have put a huge amount of effort into getting this together. I think it started as an idea, and then as you know, people have got to be dedicated to pull it together. The logistics involved with just getting this kit together, fantastic.
Indeed, and then it's been shunting half the night, because when we left last night, the displays weren't together, and we come this morning, these wonderful arrays of traction. Yeah, one thing in my mind, John, it's 200 years of the passenger railway. Well, of course, it was a freight railway primarily.
It was,
and I did wonder what you thought about that.
Well, yeah, it goes back. I mean, why we let the passenger trains come onto the network in the first place still remains to be seen. But unfortunately, we've got a lot of people in this country who need moving around efficiently, which is what the railways do. But yeah, I guess another 15, maybe 20 years before that, coal trains around the northeast.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it weren't the first railway. The S&D brought them all together. It was the world's first public railway, I think, which used steam traction. So all the elements of a public railway.
What's the public railway then? You mean
well,
people paying tickets
you could
and
turn
up and go on the
that's
trains?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We're not going to start the debate as to whether it's 200 years or not, are we? Because that one will run
I think we just did, John.
Funnily enough, we did our 25th anniversary the other day. Did some videos, put it out purely online internally, and someone pointed out it was 24 years. So we were a year too early. And
no, really?
Yeah. So we're going to do it again next year. Do it again.
Just say it was a dress rehearsal to say make sure everything worked properly.
But we had balloons.
Who knows?
25.
It was either a staff-only party, or our invitation was stuck in the post.
I think it must have been stuck in the post. But never mind.
Never mind. We will invite you next time when we do get to 25.
Result.
So, yes, indeed.
One of the things that blew me away when I was wandering around, actually, so in the shed where you had the sort of the VIP reception last night, there's number 1 locomotion. Mm-hmm. Just outside of it is 99001, your
Bookends.
Latest bit of Uber kit. I mean, I know it's 200 years, but even so, I mean, just can you imagine if somebody from 1825 came back and saw that 99? What on earth would they make of it?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same. I mean, one of the great things about what we've been able to do in GB Rail Freight, I guess, is buy things, is move things on, is grow businesses, employ people, and try and make a living out of the whole thing. And you know, that culminates in the ability to raise money to buy this kit. Doesn't need the government involved, as long as rail freight continues to grow. And that's the thing I enjoy most. And when we came with the idea of replacing the 66s some 5-6 years ago, Bob Tiller was heavily involved from our side. because he's a great engineer, and we found Stadler, who were willing to put the effort in, and that's money, put the effort in to design a loco that was capable of operating in the UK, which isn't easy unless you're ordering 200 or 300.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just an absolute thrill. There are days going right back to when 66701 was unveiled in London in Ontario, which was a beautiful blue skies, foot of snow on the ground. When we unveiled that there, and they're great days. The guy I was working with, one of our shareholders at that stage, said, "You've got to revel in these days. These are great days," and that was exactly what it was last week when we unveiled the 99.
Oh, of course, you had the launch as well.
Yeah.
And it was, I was there.
Yeah,
it was a really great crowd, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we try and have a bit of fun, put a bit of humour into life, but
it was the only corporate bash that I've been to, and I've been to plenty. That you wondering what I'm going to say now?
I know, I do know what you're going to say.
That had an ice cream van.
well, of course, 99.
99.
Oh, yeah.
And we did the
Boom.
logo with the 99 as
that's
the
brilliant.
chocolate flake
Yeah.
going into the
And
ice
it
cream.
was, as they used to say in Lancashire, eat good do.
Was it really?
We went to the pub afterwards, I know that.
A question of levity and then a serious question. The levity one, it's not a levity one really. You've got the 99 out on dynamic test now. How's it going? Is it performing as planned or better?
Well, one of the key things, so we're very early doors with that. I think it did its first run last week. At the moment, it's mainly the Stadler folk working out the technical side of things.
Right.
And there's a few hiccups. There's a few things that they're needing to adjust and check. We've then got to go through some more testing to get it accepted on the network. We've done some of the the interference testing with the signalling. But the key one for us and the key risk associated with the asset is it does what it says on the tin as far as the diesel operation is concerned. Right. So she's designed with a reasonably powerful diesel engine in it. You get a lot more power out of a lot smaller engine these days. But it's got to lift 2,000 tonnes out of Felixstowe to Ipswich without wires in roughly the same time as 66.
I didn't realise that was part of it, because that is quite a pull up to that.
It is, and that was why we chose it. And it is designed to put, and Bob will bore you to death with the detail of this, to have a high attractive effort between 0 and 5.
Yeah. So
you get the beast rolling, which is the starting resistance is always a key thing, but then she's got to satisfy that requirement commercially.
Especially if it has to stop at the top and wait for an empty passenger train to go by.
Well, there are many empty passenger trains on the Felixstowe branch, unless it's summer.
I
got the ice creams out, and it's all fine.
I had the privilege of a ride in a 66 up from Felixstowe with John in the cab.
Right.
And the 20 minutes that we had to wait at the top for an empty single car passenger train to go by were quite entertaining.
One of those things.
It was a 153.
Stud.
It was.
For those who can't see, there's a class 153.
Yeah, there is a 153. Probably an ex-Anglia one.
Just said, we're waiting. He said, I'm telling you, when the in goes past, it'll be empty, and it was.
Right. Excellent. Serious question, because so far we haven't sort of asked any serious questions of anybody. But Great British Railways.
Yes.
We're sort of, I suppose, a year into post the announcement now. For freight, concerns or broadly positive, or is it detail? Where were you at the moment?
Well, the devil's always in the detail,
Yeah.
Richard, and I think there's very little of that at the moment. I think
detail? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the key thing for people to understand, and you can have a political debate about the rights and wrongs of this, is our track access agreement with Network Rail, our ability to get access to the network, what we pay, what capacity we can exploit, is written down and is governed by legislation at the moment. And in essence, that's the business model that we base our growth around, and then the risks we take, whether it's investing in Class 99s or otherwise. The changes are so dramatic that we're literally throwing that into the bin. And in 3 years' time, I do not know where we stand. The promises that have been made, the Minister, Lord Hendy, is all very positive about rail freight, is all very keen that we're continuing to grow, and they've enshrined, or will hopefully enshrine that in some of the legislation as it goes out. But then it's the detail and how our access agreements onto the network are structured. There's performance regimes, there's the price of access, there's our rights to access, and you can quote things from the old system which you might say aren't quite correct, but when we bid to Drax to bring biomass into Hull Docks, carry it across the Pennines, Network Rail didn't want these freight trains running across the network because of the performance risk. The model should have been that they grow their revenues, so welcome more trains, but I get the fact that there was performance risk. But what we had the right to do was use our own timetable, is to discover 36 paths from Liverpool to Drax and back once a week, or 36 times a week. And we could take that to the regulator. He went, yeah, you can have access. And Network Rail were forced to allow us to operate those services.
It's some route though, isn't it?
Oh, it is some route. Yeah, we had to be a little bit imaginative.
I think you told me it involved bits of railway that you never even knew existed, let alone was still open.
Some lovely block signalling.
Now, calm down, both of you. Right?
Yeah. Some bits of railway that the 1500 DC through Guy Bridge and places like that, which I serve some of my time on. We need some certainty around that. It's a long time coming, Richard. This has been hanging around for years.
Drift.
Once the legislation's gone through, allegedly in the autumn, sceptical about that a little bit, I would say, just because there's other things that the government may prioritise to get through on the schedule. Then we've got to work very hard on how that transitions into what our rights are.
Got it. So I suppose a little bit of nervousness then. Would that be? Yeah, okay.
Well, to say that you don't know what the situation is going to be in 3 years, I mean, how on earth do you plan for that?
Yeah, and that, that really has been 100 quid. We to release should go miles platting at Victoria.
It should lift decent tonnages at a good speed.
As long as there's power supply there, with its pantograph up and get up the hill. So all of a sudden we cut 3 or 4 hours out of the Drax rotation.
Brilliant.
But now we're wanting to invest more. We're wanting to go ahead. And we have a shareholder. And they're going, so how's this work?
Yeah.
So what's our return? Because why would you invest unless you think you're going to get a return? But that's almost, and it's a bit sad in the rest of the railway, even the open access passenger stuff, competition seems to be bad news now, and you don't, you don't want entrepreneurialism. Let's just all make it state owned, and I'm not that keen on it.
Okay.
And of course, freight trains don't vote, do they?
They don't. You have a lot more people voting the train, and you've got to understand that. But for me, I've had half of my career, and bizarrely, now I'm at 48 years. I've been in the railways for a quarter of the history of the railway, 25%
oh my goodness
of the
me.
history of the railway. Oh dear, now I was going to swear there, but I won't. For me, the half of it that was spent within British Rail, and they educated me. They took me from a 16-year-old with no qualifications to having a degree in engineering and further educated me. So you cannot knock the structure that existed back then and the people that were involved with it. But then life for the last 10 or 15 years was just all about closing depots and rationalising cost. Now the sectorisation, the intercity, the provincial, that seemed to get it to a positive vibe, but that of course wound up fairly closely to the privatisation. But privatisation for me, and not for everyone, has been great fun. Right. And it attracted a lot of private sector income on the passenger railways. You look at the re-engineering that came in. And maybe now, change is as good as the rest, and we'll see what comes next.
So, we'll... why don't we close with the magic wand question?
Go on then.
If you could make one big change, or make one thing, it might be a small thing, but what would you change at a stroke if you could, that would open up possibility and the ability to do your thing better?
One change. I'll digress into a lot of changes, that's the problem.
Well, it could be one change that comes in 10 parts, if you like.
We need stability.
Yeah.
Stability, yeah.
We need stability of what we do and how we do it. And whatever happens, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, to use that quote I used last week. Let's just give us and get some guarantees from government that we've got stability as far as rail freight's concerned. They've said they don't want to nationalise us, and that's because they can't afford it.
They couldn't afford it.
Yeah. No, they couldn't afford it. But then let's encourage growth. And I guess I'm going to say more than one thing, Nigel, but if they want a growth freight target, then give it some teeth.
Yeah.
Give it some. If they don't
let
hit
there
the
be
target,
consequence.
yes.
Yeah.
Don't let it just be something that someone goes, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Give it some teeth, but stability. Yeah.
Okay, mate.
Great words. John, thank you so much for joining us.
Much,
really
John.
Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, John Smith, CEO of GB Rail Freight. Fantastic.
Thank you. Good talking
You're
to you.
absolutely wonderful to have you on the show. Right, we've got another guest actually about to join us. Before we do that, I'm just going to shift over to mention a bit about our membership offer that we've actually got on at the moment. If you want to join on Patreon, then over the course of the Greatest Gathering, we're doing 50% off, and you get your first month absolutely free. We can't do it on YouTube, unfortunately. We've got to do it on Patreon. We're actually going to run this offer until the 8th of August, so don't worry, there's no panic. You don't have to do it over the Greatest Gathering weekend, but if you can do that, then that's absolutely great. Anyway, so there's our membership offer, and now we're going back to the studio. How good was he?
John is always fantastic, Miles. He's a great talker, he's very passionate, and passion and enthusiasm to me really count for something.
Absolutely
and
fantastic.
He's never half full, is John. He's 3/4 full.
He is, but
whatever, and he'll always find a way through. And
I agree with that, but there was also a real, there were wise words there of caution and concern. Yeah. This is not over. This is not sorted yet.
And that magic word, stability.
No, absolutely. How many people have said that?
Yeah. Is anybody listening?
Yeah, well, I hope they are.
We'll keep repeating it. So, who's our next guest then?
Our next guest, please come and join us. You've got a mic on. Well, we are delighted.
Very
nice to meet you too.
Yasha.
Hello,
nice
Yasha.
to meet you, Yasha.
So,
thanks for doing this.
Yes, absolutely. It's lovely to be here.
It's lovely to have you here. Yasha Siddiqui. Now, I should explain. So, Yasha is a graduate engineer with Alstom, a second-year graduate completing placements in different engineering teams here at Derby. Mm-hmm. You graduated in 2023. Was it in aerospace engineering?
Yes, it was.
Wow, fantastic. Okay.
A bit different, yeah.
How's it going?
It's going very well. With regards to today, it's going very well.
Yeah.
And generally, my grad scheme's coming to an end in September. Going on to my full-time role.
Do you know what that is yet?
Yes, I'll be returning to my home role, which is cost engineering. Right. So Alstom does this really good thing where they do hire you for a role in mind, and your placements are supposed to supplement that, so that you can learn.
So they don't just pluck them out of the air.
Yeah, because it's useful for you to be able to interact with the teams that you're going to be interacting with in the long term.
Yes.
So yeah, I will be returning to cost engineering.
And how's it been at, I suppose, Alstom? You've got this massive engineering. I mean, engineering is at the heart of everything they do, but not aerospace engineering. So how's that? How have you sort of used the skills you learned there in applying it to the role you've got here? I'm always fascinated by people who can move between different disciplines.
Very different disciplines.
I think when it comes to engineering, I think the core of it all is problem solving.
Yeah.
The skills that university equips you is for how to solve problems, whether that be in the aerospace industry or whether that be within rail. The desire to want to fix things, the desire to want to get to the bottom of a problem is probably the best thing that university does teach all kids.
Totally, yeah.
So, whether that be on a plane or a train or a car, and that's why we do see a lot of people move between different industries. I initially came to Alstom because I have had experience with Alstom before. I did a project in school in which we connected with a local company, and that local company was Alstom.
Brilliant.
So that is how I knew of Alstom.
Like it was meant to be.
It was meant to be like a full circle moment? Yeah, something like that. So that's why I decided to come back to apply for the grad scheme for Alstom. And I've loved it ever since. Maybe I will go into aerospace in the future, but I think that's the beauty of engineering. You're not limited to one industry. It's about your passion and your desire to get involved and, as I said, fix problems.
I understand you're also chair of Alstom's UK graduate scheme.
Yes.
That sounds a pretty serious role. What does that involve?
It's a very, very serious role. No, it's essentially a role in which I make sure that the grads, because all the grads are not based in Derby, they're all across the country. And my cohort was the largest cohort of 40 grads. And it was one of the biggest cohorts Alstom has done in a single year. And there's grads in London, in Widnes, and 2 in Ireland for the first time ever. So the point of the grad scheme is to have a check-in, first of all, but ensure that the scheme works for everyone. We've had business grads this year, in the year that I was hired, as well as engineering grads. So the point of the scheme is to understand how can we improve it for future years, what worked well, what didn't work well, to ensure everyone has a similar experience and no one is disadvantaged because they're the only grad at their site. So we build that graduate network within Alstom, even though we are located at different sites.
Could feel a bit lonely otherwise if you were the only one
absolutely.
there.
Even though I have heard from many of my graduate colleagues that they fit in just fine, but it is good to have someone to ask, how is this for you?
And mentoring,
especially with something that Alstom really advise us to do, which is chartership. So to get our professional charterships with the professional institutes like IMechE and IET. So, if you don't have other younger people who are also pursuing that chartership at your site, then you might not be able to progress in the same way as you do if you have a larger support network.
Makes sense.
So, because it's not just about the report writing; it's about the experiences that you gain to be able to showcase your competencies.
And you've probably been asked this a million times. I always ask engineers, is it something you always wanted to do? Or
to be honest
because
with you,
I fell into media by accident, and yet some people have always known from a young age what they want to do.
I think it's a tough one to say. I wouldn't say I always knew that I wanted to go into engineering, but I think I always was very curious about things around me. It sounds like a very massive cliche, but one time I
doesn't mean it's less true though.
I fixed my mum's blender, and she didn't have to throw it out. And something
actually,
clicked.
That's a magnificent story. I fixed my mum's blender, and you didn't have to check it out. And I thought, I'm going to be an engineer.
That was it. That's all it took for me to decide.
What a I'm glad I asked that question. Now.
No, but you understand what I mean. So
Yeah,
I don't think
absolutely.
any kid thinks, I'm going to be a lawyer or I'm going to be an engineer. I think it's about I'm good at doing this.
Or a bit of a eureka moment.
Yeah, like I fixed something and it's better now because I took it apart, and isn't that engineering really? Fixing problems, fixing issues, improving it. So yeah, I didn't know always, but I think I was very much drawn towards the curiosity and the passion that you really need to thrive in an engineering environment.
So what might happen if your mum's blender hadn't broken?
God knows. I have no idea, because I was obviously, it's not a cliche to say, but coming from an Asian background, medicine was something that I did want to go into. And I think,
well, it's fixing things as well, isn't
it? And so, that was the route I was going to take until I started thinking a bit more, am I a good fit for biology and medicine? And I think that's something we definitely need to improve it within the education system, really, of teaching children what roles are out there. I
agree with you. I agree.
My parents didn't really. You don't know. A lot of parents aren't able to say, well, you've got these roles, but there's actually 100 roles within engineering. And that's something schools need to do a better job at, to say, not to put yourself in one box. It's more about choose your skills, and then those skills will lead to good roles.
Not let preconceived ideas take root either.
Absolutely.
Of your graduate placements
and indeed career as a whole,
and for your new career as a whole. But thank you so much for joining us on Green Signals.
It's
fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you so much.
Do you know, I started my career as a graduate, finance trainee at London Underground, and what Yasha was saying is absolutely right. You could end up finding yourself in different offices around the network, around the the Underground network, but you were always connected to each other through the graduate scheme, as she's just described here, and that you never felt alone. You always felt part of that.
And that's exactly why Women in Rail was set up, so that you'd have women, engineers or whatever, isolated, but it was to connect them with other women in senior roles or junior roles, just so there is that community, even if they're not physically close by.
Totally agree.
It's really important.
It is. Now, slight apologies, we've not got you any video to show for this afternoon session. We've been out and about taking loads and loads of footage and we'll be bringing you loads of stuff tomorrow, both of steam, of electric. We've actually got some footage of all the crowds here. I mean, the crowds are absolutely unbelievable.
Once you've edited it all tonight.
Once I've edited it all tonight. That is the challenge, actually, editing. You know, when we finish, we have to go and start work. So
Eating with one hand and editing with the other.
It is a little bit like that. Anyway, we do now have a very, very special guest. So somebody else who is absolutely synonymous with the railway. So we've gone from Yasha, who is starting her career as a graduate, to somebody who also started as a graduate manager.
Who needs no introduction.
Needs absolutely no introduction. Chris Green. Welcome to Chris.
Thank you for coming, Chris. It's good to see you.
How are you doing?
Doing fine. What a show today.
What have you seen so far?
Almost everything, I think, from A4 steam to Class 99. So almost 100 years of history in one place.
Unbelievable.
We shan't see this too often.
You talked about Chris starting as a graduate. I think I remember you telling me, correct me if I'm wrong, that one of your first roles was in Fenny Compton signal box.
Yes.
I remember you said,
is that right?
And there was not even any water main there.
No, to get the water to the signal box, you had to get an engine and put a jerry can in it and take the engine up to the signal box, which I volunteered for, of course.
Isn't that a great story?
That was your first
Fenny Compton box.
It got running water 10 years later, I think.
So it had Chris Green before it had running water.
Yes.
That's quite a claim to fame, isn't it? That's impressive.
Happy memories.
Anyway, welcome.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure to talk to you. What do you think of the show?
I think it's absolutely first class. To have got everything together like this is an amazing exhibition.
It's no small feat,
and the logistics behind it is pretty awesome. I think all these engines.
There's a bit of a calm spell, and then they get it all again from Monday when it all goes
Well,
away
that's to
again.
go back out again.
It's a military organisation. It really has
But
worked.
all credit to Alstom, because as you said,
Yes.
this isn't easy to organise.
Yeah.
And isn't it great to see railways celebrated?
Yes. Yeah, I've never walked so far in my life. There's 10 acres there. You zigzag up and down
My
the 10
feet
acres.
have let me have it as well, and my knees. But are you just here today, Chris?
Yes. Yeah, giving a talk later on.
Giving a
what's
talk.
that? What's that on?
Well, it's the Chris Green story, but it's
The Chris Green story.
But it's
Excellent.
how railways have changed from 65 to.
Was that your
now.
first? You started in '65.
Yes, at Fenny Compton.
Fenny Compton, we've done that one, yeah.
Just to get the name in.
Yeah, but I
again.
wasn't sure what year it was. So wow.
Yeah. So when you think about it, the railways have been around 200 years, and I've been around 80 since birth, so I cover quite a long period.
Well, John Smith was just telling us that he's been working on the railways for almost a quarter of their life. So you,
48
you
years,
can
yeah.
beat him a
Yes,
bit.
but, about the same. But
Yeah.
I think the great news is the railways have always gone on improving. So
Yeah.
looking back at 65, it was pretty awful, and look where we got to nowadays with modern trains, much faster railways, more frequencies.
Do you think we because you were on the graduate training scheme, and I remember talking to David Ward, who you would know as well, and David telling me, he said the great thing is, he said you'd be in a goods yard in Norwich one for one spell, then you'd be in a signal box.
Yes.
So that great spread of experience that led to people like you and many other great. Do you think we've lost something in that
Yes, but
today's
it's gonna
managers
come-
aren't getting that
It
spread?
can come back with Great British Railways.
Yeah.
With a fragmented railway, you couldn't do it. But the railway I knew, I was based in Birmingham and covered the whole country for the training. So you had 18 months roaming around geographically, doing projects, learning
So that's the
different
thought,
parts
Richard,
of
we
the
could bring
railway.
back that scheme. A
And,
Green Signals campaign, perhaps.
Yes.
Why not?
And without thinking, we went to civil engineers, signalling engineers, fleet engineering. Nowadays, those are all different companies.
One of the things when we worked together at Virgin, that I was always very struck by your approach. You're one of those people. You're the least in British Rail it was all marvellous people I think I've ever met. You actually said no. There were some things were good, like the schemes, but there was an awful lot that wasn't. And privatisation brought a lot of positive things.
Yep.
How do we make sure that positive momentum translates into Great British Railways? We don't go back to some of the
We
stuff
don't
that
throw the
wasn't great
baby
about
out with the
BR.
bathwater.
I think the big message we've got to tell all our politicians is the more you delegate downwards, the more innovation and new ideas you're going to bring in. And I think Heidi Alexander has actually said that in public, to my delight.
Yeah.
And she's right. So
Yeah.
if she does that, you can bring out the best of a nationalised industry with the innovation of a private industry.
At 2:30 in Herndon Halls, see our turntable in action.
Oh,
the PA here is superb, right?
But very loud.
But when it's on, everything else has to stop briefly.
You're right, Chris, and like me, you have heard them say that countless times over the last few years, but they don't seem to be actually doing it, do they?
Well, it's going to be another
Stepping
2 years
back.
to do it, but I think the message has got through now, and the way Great British Railways is being set up is, I think, going to take power back into a professional organisation.
Richard made the point on our latest podcast about Heidi Alexander putting out tweets like she was the area manager of Waterloo the other week.
But
That's
she
not
also,
a great
she also
thing.
said at the C2C event that she wanted to see bureaucracy stopped and power transferred down.
Do you think, though, she's not going to say anything else, is she? She's
No.
not going to say we want more bureaucracy.
She didn't have to say it, and it's on
Okay,
the
so
record.
you take a positive from
Yes,
that.
and we know that the Minister, we know that GBR want to take more power and be responsible.
Yeah.
And with taking more power comes responsibility. So I had a lot of power in my time, but I was always aware I'd lose my job if I messed up. So there is a penalty.
But you were the master of asking for forgiveness, not for permission.
I was going to say,
do you
sailing
think,
close to the wind, I think.
I mean, some of the Network Southeast stories are brilliant, and I don't know, maybe we should come and listen. Maybe you shall tell some of them later. But
Well, didn't you launch ScotRail without telling anybody about it?
More or less.
Yes.
Yes. We were 400 miles away, though. That was easy.
Oh, well, that helped.
It was much harder in Network Southeast when everyone was
But you-
travelling on your own railway.
But you just did it.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
love this.
The chairman used to come up to Scotland regularly, so he knew what was happening, but never formally said yes.
So that was your fig leaf.
Yeah, and he was privately
The
supportive.
chairman knew what was happening.
I think there's absolutely. Do you think we need a little bit more of that spirit back, and is it actually quite hard to do now in a day where you can't really keep anything a
Too
secret?
much risk
Social
aversion
media
as well.
prevents it. Has that ship sailed?
No, I think the spirit can still work there.
Okay.
So I think the first point is you have to have boundaries. So there has to be an agreed envelope, I call it. And in my case, that was the budget. So if you didn't exceed the £600 million budget on Network Southeast, we were left alone to get on with it.
Right.
If we did, I'd have been in big trouble.
Yeah. So 600 million and a pound,
So
and you were in trouble.
Yeah, so you had to have a safe railway and you wouldn't exceed your budget.
Right.
Then you had freedom to manage. What's wrong with that?
Nothing at all. And if that's what Lawrence Bowman can do
Yes.
on Southwestern, or
Yes.
Steve White, who's here at the show on Southeastern, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
And
That's the number.
They're 100% for it, and
Yeah.
we should back them. And you will make the odd mistake, and as you say, forgiveness for the small ones is
Yeah.
worth it.
Absolutely agreed. Well, we do have another guest actually here. So why don't we ask Emma to come on as well? And then maybe, please stay with us, Chris, because this would be great. I mean, I don't know if you know Emma, but we'll do that. Anything else?
You'll never see everything.
No, well, I suppose there is that.
See, I'm sure they move it around.
And being Chris Green does that, where you go 10 metres in any direction and the world stops you for a
Have you
chat.
had a little bit of that, have you?
Yes.
So hello, Chris. Hello, Chris.
Yeah, but which is fun. It is a great reunion too.
It's
Fantastic.
fantastic seeing old friends, isn't
Yes,
it?
you guys are fun doing that. Yeah.
Superb. Right, well, we are, I don't know, we're just waiting. Is Emma about to join us? Oh, I'm not sure Emma is about to join us yet. Maybe we just jump the... Oh, here she is.
Here she is.
Here she is. Come and join us. Right. Emma Roberts, Chris Green, Emma Roberts. So, Emma, you're Programme Manager of Railway 200.
Yes, that's right.
How's it going?
Do you know what? It's been really amazing, actually, better than I could have really hoped. The whole anniversary year as well, to be here and see it all coming together and really see how everyone's got behind the anniversary year, playing their part in different ways.
I don't know how she can look so relaxed.
I was going to say, it's quite remarkable, isn't it? You're very calm.
Yeah.
It's like the swan, isn't it? Calm above the surface.
Is that what it
Exactly.
is? And there's a furious paddling going on
paddling
underneath.
under the walls.
Yeah. Well, I think the beauty of Railway 200 being like a partnership-led campaign is that you know, whilst this is under our sort of brand, you know, we didn't do all the hard work for today, so I get to come here and be that nice calm, oh, isn't this amazing, and everyone else around has done all this incredible amount of work to make today happen, and I can enjoy it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
At 2:30 in the entertainment zone, be sure to meet Zeus, Europe's largest walking T-Rex.
Who knew? The largest walking T-Rex. That's fantastic.
Well, of course it would be at the greatest
Of course it's
gathering.
gonna be at the
Where else would it be today?
So when I heard how this was going to work at the start of the year, I thought, oh God, is it going to work? And you look round today, and people really have got behind it. I mean, this is a massive event.
Yes.
And to see so many people totally committed to it, because it's no small expense to put something like this together.
It's not. And I was speaking earlier about actually how the thing with Railway 200 is we wanted to sort of bring everyone together to celebrate the railways, the people, the story, all of that. And today's like a great example of how it worked, because everyone came together to make it work, and they talk about the railway family, and I think really you feel a sense of that today, and that positivity that we've managed to create, and that kind of pride that, you know, we invented the railways, and it's something we should be proud of, and they changed the world, and I think, you know, people want to be part of this, and we've said, you know, be a history maker, come and be part of this, and people have really done that, and it just makes me feel very happy.
Well, I find it quite moving. I mean, I think it was Churchill who described railways as the agents of civilization. But there's all sorts of areas. I was listening to the Today programme the other day, and it was the 90th anniversary of Penguin Books. And apparently Alan Lane, who founded Penguin Books, was going on a railway journey, and at Exeter railway station he was so disappointed at the selection of books on offer at the W.F. Smith's or whatever it was, he launched Penguin Books. So the railways
about this as well, this greatest gathering. I used to go to like Crew Open Day, you know, back in the intercity days, Chris, you know, when you were running that, and you used to go as a kid, and you could, you know, sort of get onto the engines and I was slightly nervous that it would be, look, don't touch, you know, don't go, but actually no, there's a queue to go into the cab of a Class 37. You can go up and have a run up a test track. You can go on the footplate of a couple of steam engines.
The inspiration train with the gauge.
I think that's fantastic that we've, you know, because we live in a slightly different world, but it's still possible to get up close to all this stuff, which I think for youngsters is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and one of the things when we were talking about what Railway 200 could do, and it was about lifting the curtain on the rail industry.
Yeah.
Let's get people positive, let's give people those experiences, and today is a great example of having those memorable experiences and getting up and close with it, because ultimately we want more young people to come and work on the railways. Absolutely. We want that to be a legacy of what we're doing here, creating all this, you know, positivity, telling them more about that wonderful story about the railway, to ultimately inspire and create a memorable moment for a young person to say, oh, do you know what, I didn't think of the railways like that. And that's kind of what, for me, that's the heart of what this is all about.
That it's not all bad news, is what you know.
Yeah, it's, you know,
the great sense of celebration. Somebody was saying earlier, it's great to spend time, all these people just really happy. You know,
I've not seen any cross faces.
Wonderful chance. Yes.
There was a wonderful moment. I saw there was a young boy. He must have 7 or 8 years old, and he had a Deltic T-shirt on, and his dad had a Deltic T-shirt on, and there was a slightly sort of salutary moment when I realised his dad was probably not even born when Deltics finished, and I actually remember. But isn't it incredible that although you know that kind of passion and love for all of this doesn't seem to disappear, doesn't end when this stuff is retired. It kind of just carries on like a thread, which I think is absolutely marvellous, really. It's great.
It was almost poetic, that, Richard.
It was almost poetic. Well, I was trying to outdo your Churchillian quote, and I realised I probably couldn't do that.
Which is quite something for an accountant to get poetic, you know.
Very good.
I have never been accused of getting poetic before. I do actually have to look almost. I do have to look at our technical desk and just say how long have we actually got left. And he's we've got 6. We can talk for a bit.
So
more.
Emma, what's the give us some bookended highlights and lowlights. What's been your best moment, and what's been your worst?
Well, I think for me, the sort of one of the most standout moments was actually at the start on the 1st of January on New Year's Day, when we had the whistle up of locomotives across the UK and across 5 continents signalling Railway 200, and I saw like the highlights edit that we did of that, and I actually had a tear. I actually felt really emotional.
Railways can do that
because it was 2 years almost of hard work, of actually having some with Lord Hendy then at Network Rail saying we need to do something for rail for this anniversary, and I was in the comms team at Network Rail at the time, and these things have a tendency to come into comms that don't sit elsewhere in the business, and they were like, oh Emma, this sounds like something you could
you'd be good at this.
You'd be good at this. Here you go, there's a gift. I was like, oh, thanks very much for that. And we chatted to lots of different stakeholders about what that could look like, and we ended up with almost like a set of ideas and aspirations in a document. And then I was like, okay, better make this happen then. So that moment for me meant like I kind of made a thing, and it felt like really sort of a really proud moment. And I've involved my children as well. I took them to the launch of the Girl Guide Badge, which was another big moment for me. Last week the Royal Mint launched their coin. These are the ideas that come your way. Emma, we should have a coin. Emma, let's have a Girl Guide Badge. And you're thinking, crikey, how do I make that happen? But we've done it.
And what about the low light? What one was your worst?
I don't think there's been in that way, but I think you can't underestimate how complex it was to get our exhibition train done. And there was definitely some moments in there where, you know, the challenges that you had to overcome, the complexities of it, wondering whether, you know, we could meet the deadline. You know, our anniversary wasn't going to move when you're running a project like this. No. And, you know, we had a very clear date that it needed to be done by. So there were some moments where you think, gosh, are we going to be able to make it?
I know, but it's a great mind focus, isn't it? The guys who did the Olympics in 2012, and they said, there's a day.
Exactly.
6 hours is too late. No, there is a day and there is a moment. So, and it's amazing how you can get people to do stuff for you. Actually, there is just
incredible.
a day.
There's nothing like imminent disaster to concentrate the mind.
No, totally.
But you just said something there which for me absolutely sums it up. You talked about challenges and all the rest of it, but then you said about making it happen, and that's what the railway needs, isn't it? People who can make things happen.
Totally
that achieves everything.
Yep.
Absolutely everything.
And people like targets.
But you know, and the railway's just full of them. The railway's just full of people who roll their sleeves up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I've said in countless media interviews, it doesn't matter what it does, but it doesn't matter what problems politicians throw at the railways. Railway men and women will always make it work.
I genuinely never thought I would see the day when a branch line society tour brought a Pendolino hauled by one of your 57 Thunderbirds, Chris, into the middle of Derby Litchurch Lane.
That's a rare bit of tractor, isn't it?
It was
a little bit complicated, wasn't it? Favourite topics now.
Off trains, and they hate it too. LNER do it really well. They've got lots of diversions. But on other railways, others are available. Put people onto buses, and I really don't think we should do that.
Yeah. So unfortunately, somebody has just started something. I do not know what.
It's that West Coast 57, I think.
Is that West Coast 57? The problem is it's spilling all onto our mics, and we're looking at the tech desk. Can you just about hear us still? Just about. Well, I'll tell you what. I think that's probably.
Just gone anyway.
I don't know what that is, but that's probably a good time to bring this particular edition of Green Signals to a close.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Emma.
Chris.
Thank you to Chris Green. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. We will be back tomorrow, Saturday the 2nd of August, live again. We've got some more amazing guests and more footage from the site and everything that's going on. So 10:45, Saturday the 2nd of August, Green Signals live, and join us then. But from me, it's goodbye from me and...
Goodbye from me. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching.